Time now for our regular Democracy Gauge feature. And this is where you get to rate the state of our democracy. And we do that using three colors. Green means our democracy is healthy, yellow we should be careful, and red that our democracy may be in danger.
All right, so today we feature DJ Reddy D. He's a social activist, radio and television presenter, but best known as South Africa's foremost hip-hop DJ. Reddy D and his group, Prophets of the City, use their music to tell South Africa's story through some of the most turbulent times in our history. Remember Prophets of the City?
I remember Prophets of the City right there in my time.
I remember going, and this was many, many years ago. We were in Cape Town on holiday, and we went to go and see Prophets of the City playing live. And this was a big deal.
Of course, yeah. Prophets of the City. They, of course, helped South Africa navigate its way into political freedom by doing voter awareness ahead of the first democratic elections. And during that same period, their music was banned as it told the ugly truth about apartheid and the road to democracy. Let's take a look.
I'm known as Grandmaster Reddy D. I've been born and raised in District 6. My family was unfortunately amongst many that was forcefully removed out of District 6. We were relocated into Lentegeur, Mitchell's Plain. A lot of people know me from my work within hip-hop culture. I'm one of the founder members of POC, that's Prophets of the City, and BVK. So I've been working as an artist, as one of the producers within that field. And I'm also a part of a DJ collective called the Beat Bangers. And then I'm very, very involved with youth development. One of my focus points these days, it's road safety, just in general. And hence SR4A, which stands for Safer Roads for All. So that's my focus point. And of course, the music's always going to be in the forefront. I was at the age 11 when we were moved out of District 6. On the one side, it was adventurous, just from a young boy's perspective. And looking back, it was extremely traumatic and it was extremely sad. And the more I think about it, the more it actually impacts how I feel, from a psychological and an emotional standpoint, because all the events that led up to us being moved out was all tragic events. I lost a lot of close family members within our household. The last person to pass away was my dad, and then shortly after that, it was the move. I actually saw District 6 come down. The houses around us were being bulldozed, and we saw the collapse of District 6. So I saw it in its glory days, and I saw the collapse. And friends and family, we were all relocated into different areas and separated. I mean, the move from District 6 to Mitchell's Plain did impact me in so many different ways as well, and also my thinking and my growing within the consciousness and the black consciousness way of thinking as well. Of course, hip-hop with the music and the trends also encouraged that as well. So getting involved with the culture right in the beginning, and I wasn't motivated by politics or any of that. I was a typical young boy growing up in Mitchell's Plain, now starting to dabble in gang life and experimenting and see what that whole life was all about. So of course my motives were different at the time. And getting involved with hip-hop and meeting up with the other founder member of Prophets of the City, Shaheen. He was on the SRC, and the SRCs during the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s were very social and politically driven. I didn't understand that dynamic whatsoever. And through my interactions with him and working on Prophets of the City's music and the albums and the first demos, that's when I would say the consciousness and the political seeds started to become planted. And as we were exposed to more groups such as Public Enemy and your NWAs and Paris and all these hip-hop artists from the US that had a very strong political message in the music, that started to put things into perspective for me as well. That made me understand why the police and the military came into the townships, came into Lentegeur and started shooting at us, why the townships are burning, why we are put in the predicament that we've been put in, so that's kind of been my journey, ever since. That album, titled The Age of Truth, I think that is the album that probably caused the most disturbance in this country for us as Prophets of the City. And strange enough, the songs and the music videos were scooping up awards overseas at major festivals and film festivals, and back home we were just silenced and totally cut. In all honesty, if you track what we said as prophets of the city in the 90s, a lot of that was hoping that we won't be in this predicament that we are today when it comes to the challenges that do exist. So we kind of had a feeling some challenges were going to come, and we knew something along the lines of a civil uprising was going to take place. So my experience with democracy, yes, there's a lot of positive things that have happened. One of the greatest things that came out of that, we now have the freedom to move. The downside is democracy only have tangible value for a select few. The lack of political will and leadership and greed and corruption. With looking at things from that perspective, then I don't think that we've really arrived. And democracy looks good and it sounds good on paper and on a theoretical level, but put into practice, it only benefits a select few. Corruption and incompetency and greed, I think that's the main ingredients that's going to be the cause of our demise. I put green there because I'm extremely optimistic and I love life. I love living, I love what I do, and I love to see people succeed. And this is to salute all of those pushing the boundaries and making the effort. So this is for you. This is the realist in me right there. And this is the pessimist, but I'm going to put it there in the back over there. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And today's insert was produced by Abra Barbier and Lucky Tsolo. The Democracy Gauge feature is powered by SABC News, and it acknowledges all South African citizens.